truthfully, more than anything, I just needed a break from all of that. I got one more thing to talk about here, Suns basketball related. Maybe two more, but we're going to shift our attention away for just a second from basketball because I need a break, you need a break, and today feels like a great day. I kind of save these for moments where I think we need a bit of an uplift. I think in hour number 2 of the program, Producer Dylan, if it's okay with you, I want to give away a $50 gift card to Von Hansen's, let everybody have a better weekend than the way the basketball team treated us last night and the way they might treat us over the weekend. So if that's all right with you, you give me the thumbs up on that. All right, that's approved. So Producer Dylan says it's okay. So we'll do that in hour number 2 of the program. I'll hook you up this weekend, $50 gift card to Von Hansen, so you can have a better weekend than I think the basketball team is going to be having. But back to football for just a second. Scouting combine ongoing. QBs, wide receivers, meeting with the media this morning. We're going to get some workouts tonight. I think the DBs start working out tonight on the field. We'll see some on-the-field stuff and a lot of mock drafts coming out while we are watching the scouting combine, while the media is under one roof at the scouting combine. And there is a theme that is somewhat starting to emerge for Cardinals in mock drafts, and that theme is them moving back out of 16, trading down in the 2025 NFL draft. And I'll tell you, I think these mock drafts are pulling on a thread that makes some sense, right? They know how this regime, this general manager likes to operate. They're able to look at the 5-6 picks that this team has in this draft and know that that's not really probably a comfortable position for Monty Ossenfort. Probably wants more picks. He's had, how many picks did he have last year? 9 or 10? I mean, he might have been in double digits. He may have been in double digits each of the last 2 seasons with draft capital. So 6 picks, 5 picks, a lot less than what this team is accustomed to. And so that feels in line of, hey, move down, get some more draft capital, maybe not just for this year, for next year, and still get a good player in the first round, but arm yourself with additional capital for things down the road. And that's a noble goal. I think most of us like the idea of constantly having more draft assets. I say this on the show all the time. I'll repeat it now. I like when a team has flexibility in their draft assets for when situations arise and they want to move up in the draft. They want to get a player via trade, right? You want to be armed with capital to do so. Trading for Myles Garrett feels pretty difficult if you only have 1 first-round pick available to you. You're limited in draft capital. Flexibility is key. So I'm all for that. I love it. But at some point, you can't keep selling the promise of the future. At some point, you have to deliver on the here and now. And that promise delivered on the here and now, I think lines up with how long you've been in the job. When a team makes a GM change, when a team makes a head coaching change, it's most of the time because the previous head coach, general manager combo wasn't getting it done. Wasn't finding the success that the franchise wanted. Maybe a couple first-round exits in the playoffs. Okay, we got to change things up here. We're just missing something in the playoffs. Our roster isn't playoff ready. We do great in the regular season, but we're just missing that extra juice in the postseason. Or you bring in a head coach, you pair him with a young quarterback, and you still can't get out of 4, 5, 6-win seasons. You can't break through and make the playoffs. Okay, it's time to make a change. You hit a ceiling, you hit a wall. Normally, that's when change comes. Sometimes coaches retire. Sometimes GMs retire, and you can make a seamless transition to somebody new, but you keep everything the same, and there's a lot of success that comes with that. But most of the time, when we get to the end of the regular season and there's 6 or 7 head coaching openings, it's not because 6 or 7 teams are in transition from one great coach to another great coach. It's more than likely because the results aren't there. So when you take over those teams, there's some cleaning up that needs to be done. And so you can sell the promise of a future. You can sell, I need some time to clean this up. You can sell what 2-3 years down the road is going to look like. But guess what? When 2-3 years down the road actually comes to pass and we get to the future and the future becomes the present, you've got to deliver on those promises. You can't just then continue to talk about the future. So at some point, trading picks or trading down to get future picks has to turn into actual talent on the field. At some point, you can't talk about the future. You have to turn picks into talent, and you need to turn picks into wins. The future's great, but what about the present? The Arizona Cardinals went 8-9 last year. The Arizona Cardinals were close to making the playoffs and hosting a home playoff game. They got to build on that. You can't talk to me about 2026. Can't talk to me about 2027. There is an appetite to win right now. There is an appetite for this team to be successful in 2025. Now, that doesn't mean you can't still trade down and get future picks. So what is the pathway for the Cardinals to trade back in the draft? It's simple for me. You got to do a lot of work in free agency. You have to check a lot of boxes in free agency. We have to get to draft night and feel really comfortable with the state of the roster. We have to feel like a lot of work was done in free agency, that you got the interior of your offensive line figured out, that you made a notable addition to your pass rush group in free agency. Do you have to check every single box before night one of the draft? That is not what I am saying. That is an unfair expectation. But the roster has to be better. Because by trading down from 16, you're taking the risk of the talent that you're leaving on the board. Now, I know I've said before the 16th overall pick is not like picking in the top 5. I'm okay with trading the 16th overall pick for Myles Garrett. I'm okay with trading the 16th overall pick as part of a package for Max Crosby or Michael Parsons. I'm okay with that. That's getting talent for the here and now. But if you're going to trade down, you're potentially foregoing a player that could help you. And maybe the players that are on the board when you pick, say you move down 5 spots to 21 or 22 or 23, maybe that player is more of a project. Maybe that player is a more down-the-road player. And then the draft picks you get may be future draft picks. Maybe they're not picks in 2025. Maybe they're picks in 2026. Now, if you get picks in 2025 and you can take more swings, okay. But I got to feel really comfortable about where this roster sits on draft night. I have to feel like Monty did a lot of the heavy lifting already to feel comfortable with what I am potentially giving up, the opportunity cost of moving down. If they still have a major hole at pass rush, if they still have a major hole on the interior of their offensive line, if they still have a major hole when it comes to their number 2 wide receiver, if all of those holes still exist because maybe free agency doesn't go the way they want it to, the way we want it to, I don't know if I want this team trading down. It fits with their vision. It fits with their mentality as an organization. So I get why it's a popular thing to mock, but I don't know if I would feel comfortable with it unless some of those other boxes are checked in a big way. You tell me this team signs Milton Williams in free agency. You tell me this team also signs back some of their guys for the interior of their offensive line, and they add another wide receiver to the room, maybe not a true number 2, but a really good number 3. They replace Zay Jones on this roster. I might feel way more comfortable trading out of number 16. I may have a way stronger appetite to get future draft picks because I'll feel more comfortable with the state of the current roster. This team went 8-9. A lot of pressure on this team this year. This is year 4 for this regime. Year 4, year 3 for this regime. They have to find success this year. There's no excuses. And so I don't want to open the door potentially to have holes on my roster come week 1 of the regular season. That to me is unacceptable. So I like the idea of trading down, getting more picks, being able to take more swings in the 2025 draft. But I'm only comfortable doing it if some major moves are made in free agency to where I feel comfortable with the overall state of the roster. In the abstract, I can't talk about trading down. I don't know. Do they get Milton Williams or do they miss on Williams and Josh Sweat? Do they miss on both of those guys? Do they make an impactful addition to their pass rush room? I don't know if I'm comfortable going from 16. We already told you how difficult it is to land an impact player at 16, how much chaos there can be in front of you. Now you want to trade down, pick in the 20s? You create more variables. You create more variance. And I don't know if this team is in a place where they can do that right now.